Welcome to Van Lathan's The Red Pill, where we give you the brutal honesty and reality of truth. Today's guest is a spectacular one, Nick fucking Cannon. Love this guy. I think that the evolution of Nick Cannon has been nothing short of spectacular. We're talking about a guy who is a producer, a writer, a rapper, an actor, an intellectual, an entrepreneur, all of those things. And, you know, I gotta be honest with you, Leonardo DiCaprio has a reputation for some of the lovely ladies that he's been with in Hollywood, but I don't think that he really has anything on Nick Cannon, who's out there doing his thing. We talked about that. We talked about voting. We talked about the social and economic status of African Americans in society and their status in Hollywood. We talked about why Nick Cannon in his mid-30s decided that it was necessary for him to go back to college and get the formal education that he never got, and why he feels like not only can he out-rap Will Smith, but Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and all of those guys, man. Nick talking his shit on this podcast. The part about voting in this particular podcast is something that I feel like if you like the red pill, if you love the red pill, if you consume the red pill, that you need to hear two differing perspectives that are trying to achieve the same thing. Listen, Nick, I gotta say, is one of the most amazing interviews that we've ever done. It was a fantastic experience to talk to him. Sit back, pop some pills, and let's get into this Nick Cannon. Let's go. We got 4 people. Clap for Nick Cannon right now, man.
Four claps.
Why people clap for Nick Cannon, man?
I appreciate it.
Really been putting in work right here. We recent icon stats. We're talking about right now the hectic schedule.
Yeah, man.
That Nick be on, man.
But to me, it don't seem hectic. Like it's I got my classes like any college student, 2 days a week. You know, I'm in there finessing, trying to get all, taking a full load, and then and that's in D.C., which is only like 30-minute flight from New York, or a 3 to 4 hour drive. I sleep on planes. Then I come, once I leave school, I come to the West Coast, do all my business, handle everything here, and then, be with my kids on the weekend. Just like it's simple. But see, now we about to start wilding out again. So now another crib in Atlanta, home base there. So now I got to.
Y'all do wilding out in Atlanta?
Yeah, now we do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Why'd y'all move out to Atlanta?
I mean, you know what? It's up to me. I kind of chased the culture. Like it was cool when I first started because we was out here, early 2000s. We started in L.A. Funny thing, I rented out a comedy club called the Comedy Union on Pico.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. That's where it all originated. You know what I mean? Me, Kevin Hart, a bunch of other guys, Chris Spencer, like so many people.
Chris Spencer, man. Shout out to Chris Spencer.
Shout out to my guy.
Guy moves. So much of the stuff that you see, man, Chris Spencer been out here having his hands in the real husbands.
Chris all Spencer, of that. Yeah, so I mean, I created that back then, and so we kept the show out here probably, it's like 2007. Yeah. Then once I actually moved to the East Coast full time, we then did it in New York first, Manhattan. Then we took it to Brooklyn. And now I was like, yo, the culture's in Atlanta. We got to go to
You feel like that? You feel like the culture's in Atlanta right now?
I mean, hip-hop culture. You know what I mean? If I had to pick one city where it's actually thriving the most, I mean, because that's the beauty. It's actually thriving everywhere.
Right.
From Chicago to New York. Obviously, the Mecca is New York. But right now, if you're really trying to get that bag, or you're really trying to just book guests for a while and out. Everybody live in Atlanta out there. So, and then we touched the West Coast, we touched New York. Like now, I might as well hit the South. So we've been doing it there.
Is that people talk about the celebrities that you see in LA, and you see celebrities in LA wherever you go. But if you really want to see some famous people, some famous black people, take your ass to Atlanta, man.
They call it Atlanta Wakanda right now.
Right,
like when you just think about, and you know what? People don't give them credit. I solely say the reason why Atlanta is so popping, I got to give that to L.A. Reid and Babyface.
Babyface, word.
Because if you think about it, those cats was from the Midwest, and they was the illest producers and songwriters in the 80s.
Yeah.
They chose to set up shop.
The deal.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
They chose to set up shop in Atlanta. And from LaFace being in Atlanta, that's where you saw Jermaine Dupri,
So Def,
Dallas Austin, which then just those two guys created everything. From, you know, like
Dungeon Family.
Yeah, and then the Dungeon Family. So if you got LaFace at the time had TLC, Outkast, was using producers Dallas Austin, Jermaine Dupri, all of it, like really turned Atlanta up. Yeah, Usher. Like so from there, then every songwriter you love, every producer, and then today we got Migos, Future. Like people don't even know
Future,
like Future is connected, connected to the Dungeon Family.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like you don't if it can all go back to when L.A. Reid and Babyface in the early 90s chose to say, you know, we're going to set up shop in Atlanta. And from there, Atlanta is popping how it is.
Staying on that right now, my man Isaac Hayes III.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him?
100%.
He always talks about the fact that Atlanta needs something like, you know how the Breakfast Club has New York culture, kind of hip-hop culture a lot. Then out here in L.A., you got Big Boy, you got Van Lathan's The Red Pill Podcast.
Hey, there it is. There it is.
Trying to holding down the culture, stuff like that. Feels like Atlanta needs a sort of seminal peak.
Really?
Cultural. That's what he said. He said that one time. I don't want to misquote the brother. He said that Atlanta needs something like that originates from Atlanta. And that's not to not shout out Jock and all of them because they're doing their thing on the radio, but
but that's what I was saying, because the thing about Atlanta again, and they're their own nucleus.
Right.
They have so many. I think they have the most urban radio stations than any other city in America. I think they have to like 4, possibly even 5. When you think about, and they all got morning shows.
Right.
They all got the afternoon drive. You know what I mean? So like even a lot of it's syndicated, but Ricky Smiley and all of them, they kind of rock from out there. I mean, when you even think about, I don't know, like you said, like Jock and all, like I feel like it's so much going on in Atlanta that you turn on that radio, you even like whether, I don't know if they focus specifically on like how we doing right here, just discussing culture.
Right.
But there's definitely people out there that's getting it in. But again, Atlanta's a hub, man.
It is,
like,
bro. And now, by the way, last thing I'll say about Atlanta, because I'm not even from there, I'm from Baton Rouge, so shout out to my hometown. Last thing I'll say about Atlanta is a lot of places you can go and you can see ball players, you can see entertainers, you can see different people in those industries that are thriving as far as Black America is concerned.
Yeah.
Atlanta has an infrastructure of Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black
and it's
engineers,
been that way.
Black architects, like academics. Like it really is a place where it's thriving like that. So shout out to the A, man.
And then again, like take it outside of entertainment.
Right.
Let's take it back to where you're like Martin Luther King.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
That guy, man.
Let's just go there and like, you know, the Institute of Morehouse, Clark Atlanta University, like
all of those schools,
all
man.
of those
Spelman,
all like, so our culture is so rich there, and our culture and prominence is so rich there because like it's you drive down the street and you're gonna see every house is Black owned, Black owned businesses. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing. Like I don't know many other cities other than Atlanta in the United States that are thriving in that way.
What made you want to go back to school, man? We talking about Howard. Like, what made Nick Cannon go to school?
Man, so many things. But honestly, after understanding and stepping back for a second, education is real wealth. They can't take it from you. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of cats out here getting crazy amount of money and, you know, so many materialistic and tangible items that we can show off. But there's nothing like being able to show off your intellect, your conversation. And it's something that I always had a hunger for, but was finessing it, you know what I mean? And I get out there, and even in my philanthropic work, I talk about how much education is key and is the answer, but I was like, I had to kind of put my efforts where my mouth was, because I truly also do believe, like, we talk about being woke and how we fix the problems. Ultimately, we know the system wasn't designed for us, and the only way is have to create our own new system. You got to do that through education. Sure. I mean, every other culture, every other ethnic group has shown that. Like, they come from their home, they come from, you know, wherever they originate, come here to America, but they bring their education with them.
And they seek ours as well.
Yeah, and dominating ours, and then take ours back to there. And then, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what it is. I mean, and it's unfortunate that we were initially robbed of our education, and then also robbed of the ability to educate ourselves here. And then we figured it out. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful.
On the fly.
Yeah.
On the fly, baby.
Right. Real talk. So, but now it's almost like it's like Chris Rock said it best one time. It's cool not to not know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nigga, I don't know that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so, but if we could get back to that space, man, and recondition these mindsets to just be like, and it ain't even about being cool. It's just be educated, be smart. Like we all, that's the crazy thing about whether it's a podcast, social media, we all got opinions.
Sure.
But sometimes our opinions be so ignorant. And I only say ignorant in that sense of like, we don't have the education to back it up. We don't have the books to back it up.
Right.
And it's all right there available to us. Right now, there's more information available to humans than ever before. But we choose just to give our opinion about.
Right.
And I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that celebrity that was like, yo, I care about the community. I care about this. And I'm commenting on everything. But then it's like, yo, like
there's no substance to it.
Who cares what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this?
At a time like this, right.
You know what I mean? It's like I want to really be like an expert in what. So that's why I'm majoring in criminology and strategic and legal management in the School of Communication.
How do you feel like that, man? That it's, first of all, I'll say something to that. I'll add to that, then I'll ask you a question. What he just said is very, very important because we're living in an era where we're reinforced by the idea that everybody is entitled to their opinion, which is a fact.
Yeah.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion. That doesn't mean that your opinion means a fucking thing.
Exactly. You can have your opinion.
So you can have your opinion. Doesn't mean that it means anything, especially if it's not rooted in any fact and any sort of knowledge. It doesn't mean anything. It's just what you made up in your mind.
And it just shows you shows the world how ignorant you are.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and again, your opinion is your opinion.
You can have it. It don't mean I have to listen to that dumbass shit.
Right. And that's why because I get out there and I pontificate from times and I get up there and say what I believe. But I try to ask more questions than to provide more answers because I know that I don't know everything.
Right.
I know I'm not going to sit here and let you dictate towards what I'm supposed to believe, you know what I mean, or tell me this is how it is, because I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to have several questions, and I need you to believe whatever you believe way stronger than I oppose it.
Right. What made you pick the specific major? What did you say the major was again?
It's a double major.
Double major.
Specifically criminology, which is really the administration of justice, and it's just because I've been doing so much work in these prison systems. I want to be an expert in it.
You want to know.
I want to master it. You know what I mean? And I'm working from within. I mean, I'm in the DC jail systems every single week.
Right.
And then strategic and legal and management in the School of Communications. And what that means is, like, obviously we're in the business of communication.
Sure.
And I don't need a communications degree for any reason at all, but I feel like I'm already operating in that world. So I wanted to know all the legalities and really start to dive in the legal aspect and even and building a business in the world of communications, because, you know, I go back to it all the time. It's 6 major companies that run all media.
Yeah, say it again for the people that didn't hear you.
6 major companies that run
a fact.
all media.
So that's a fact.
But understanding that, like, okay, I see the system y'all set up. Let me dive in and really, I know the article numbers and what you guys are talking about. I know why there's going to be a shift in entertainment. I know how you guys are going to try to create the big 3 eventually.
Right.
You like, I'm understanding how all of that is working, because one, it's been done in the past.
Sure.
And history always repeats itself. And then I'm really trying to figure out, you know, how am I going to get that bag within this system?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I am an entrepreneur. I am somebody who really knows how to maneuver through this industry. And now that I can have education behind it and be considered a true intellectual, there's no limit when it gets there. And I learned that from cats like Dick Gregory, Harry Belafonte, Quincy Jones. These are people that like set me down and was like, all right, you gotta know the system. Don't be afraid of the system.
Right.
Don't abandon the system.
Right.
That's a lot of times we
if you don't know the system, you don't know how to build a better one.
Exactly. So we operating within it. We using their currency. We using all we're classified under their system. So I'm operating it. I'm not gonna try to go unless I'm moving to Africa, which I would. That'd be amazing to do one day, or move to another foreign land. But then you got to learn their system. Right. Every land has a system, and I love the American system. You just got to understand how to master it.
Right. So the interesting thing about what you're saying to me is that you've been doing this for a long time since you were 15 or 16, right?
Yeah.
So, and you got started off so there was an actual education that you got for sure.
Facts.
Right. And so in the sort of argument or the conversation between the education that you get in the world and the education that you get in the classroom, what is Nick Cannon's stance on that now, having been in school for a little while?
Yeah, and let me go back and just say, I don't think getting a degree or going to a college or university is something that we must do or we got to focus on. It's not about the piece of paper. It's not about the institution. I mean, all that is just camaraderie.
It's about the girls at Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I do not. It's a couple of professors that's kind of alright, but dude, every girl at Howard I look at as little girls.
So because they
I could be some of their daddy, to be honest. So I stay far away. But honestly, like it's truly about that process, and like you said, I've been educating myself since I was a kid. Like I could say, oh, I have a master's in communication or in film and television.
Entrepreneurs alike and all of that stuff.
But I don't know everything. And that's why I chose like criminology and legal communications. And those are the things that I'm like, yo, I'm learning every day.
That's the name of the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know everything with Nick Cannon.
There it is. I don't know everything. That's facts. But so wherever you can educate yourself, like I actually want to educate myself abroad and
essential.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I know that when we talk about our community, we're talking about people that don't get the opportunity to travel that much. You know, me and Charlemagne be going out of the country and shit like that. Yeah. And when we go out, I always look at his kids and I think, yo, that is so dope.
Yeah.
That they little some of these kids and I'm like, they have a chance to see a different culture, a different situation, that everywhere that you go is not like where you came from.
Yeah.
And so that's essential to understanding this world and how big it is, man.
And when you get to it, because even like spiritual understanding and all of those things that really ultimately as people, we all latch on to something.
Right.
And it starts with traditions and rituals, and then we carry on and we build our communities based off of these.
Right.
So when you get to experience different traditions and different ideas, you're like, man, I thought we had it right. And first of all, where did we get it from?
Where did it come from? yeah, for sure.
And then so when you start digging and then you realize ultimately, oh, it truly is everybody was just seeking happiness.
Right.
And how do we classify our own happiness? And why are all of these rules placed on us?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they divide us? Why was it? And then ultimately, I mean, there's so many answers, but it zones back into capitalism.
Why is there race?
Right.
Why is there class?
And
why do all of these constructs exist? Why did we make them up?
It's all capitalism.
But why did they make them up?
Yeah, exactly.
Austin. Why Austin?
It's your fault.
Why Jason? Why y'all made it up? Huh?
All these 4 white guys in here, we're blaming you guys.
Yeah, why, man?
we need answers.
Come from the cradle of civilization. How did you become? You from Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Like, how did you how did seriously y'all hearing me kicking that fucking shit? like how did you? Yeah, how did you become the man that you are today with the interest? Because there's a lot of other people out here.
Yeah, I mean, I depend. Like, shouts out to Nickelodeon, anybody over there. I mean,
love Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Not to diss Nickelodeon, but I'm just saying that like.
But that's what, like, when you think about even whether it's a very interesting world, this entertainment industry, when you have a lot of young people come in and they come in like geniuses. Think about everybody that we grew up loving, from Macaulay Culkin to Keenan and Kel to all of these people. These young people were special.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I almost consider like they're like the X-Men. But what ends up happening is you give them tons of money. They have power over their families. And so then we watch this downward spiral of these young people who were truly special, so special that we put them on a media platform for millions to see and be examples. But then there's a shift as they grow older or don't grow, You know, shouts out to all of the people. It's so weird. I always find that to be so peculiar that every kid that we love off of television stay the same size.
They end up being like 5'2" for their whole life.
And they look like kids for their whole life.
Like, why does that happen, man?
That's what I'm saying. It's some weird shit going on.
Some of them are rappers.
Yeah.
but why does that happen?
And so what happens, and I'll get back to the point of where you say like where I come from and how I became the person that I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I was lucky enough to be a part of that special pool of young people. But then there's a fork in the road a lot of times where they want to hold on to what that is as they're young and not evolve. And luckily, I came in the game, even though people considered me this young dude or this kid, I lived a full life. You know what I mean? I grew up in, Section 8 housing, the projects, all of that stuff. Made it.
Where you from again?
San Diego. Yeah. Shouts out to Southeast San Diego. But and again, like even that sounds like whatever, the Southern California mentality of the 90s and gang vibes. I came up in like all of that.
Right.
So to get on television by the time I was 18 by the time I got my first real check. I mean, I was doing stand-up and stuff since 15, but I was still functioning and finessing as an adult. Right. So I didn't have to go through that process. So I was just a regular kid from the hood like everybody else who had the same interests, the same loves for hip hop. And, my father specifically was in the community as a community leader.
Oh, so you have a basis and a foundation of these things.
So I lived a normal life, helping the community activism. My grandmother was a foster mother, like all of these things that were real big in the community. It just so happened to be I got an opportunity to be a part of this young elite, entertainment industry that people only saw this and they thought, oh, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, or he been on TV all my life, so he must be this corny dude. Where it's like, if I sit here, I ain't going, oh yeah, I grew up tough times. I don't need to do all of that.
Sure.
But I lived a normal life before I was ever in front of the camera. And I was never even impressed with being on camera. I was more impressed with writing. Right. I was more impressed with being behind the scenes and producing. I mean, I started off DJing and producing, in high school for other people. I wanted to be Diddy. I wanted to be Quincy Jones. I wasn't thinking about being the guy on camera.
I remember when Underclassmen came out. Yeah. And it was your production company.
Yeah.
And I was reading something. What's this, like 07, 08?
Probably earlier than that.
Earlier than that.
04.
04. I remember reading, because at this point, I'm still thinking, how I'm going to get out here where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, because you still, we're the same age. I'm thinking, yo, I know a lot of actors that were doing their thing. Yeah, but I was like, I didn't know anybody that was like, I'm doing this through my own imprint at that age.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to some of these other guys who had started their production companies a little after that. But I'm like, that was early in the game, like kind of be on your own production company for a major motion picture as well.
And that was just the hustle in me, you know what I mean? And just recognizing like, yo, I don't want to do it. I didn't want to sit around and wait for an audition. I didn't want to sit around and wait. So I would just write my own stuff. Right. And then that gave me power because content is king. And then I learned from watching Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, Keenan Ivory Wayans, like Eddie Murphy.
Kids, if you don't know who Robert Townsend is, he's the reason why a lot of people on TV doing their thing right now, man.
Factual.
Go watch Hollywood Shuffle.
Yeah.
Go watch the rest
and you'll
of
see who the extras are in that movie.
In that movie, how many careers got jumped off from that. Man, respect these legends and these guys who laid it down for it. We've been sitting here, not even a half hour. We didn't talk Dick Gregory, Harry Belafonte, Robert Townsend, Chris Spencer. These are the dudes that have been doing this for a long time and
creating opportunities.
Creating opportunity for people, man.
Yeah, factual.
Yeah. So Will Smith was like instrumental to you early in your career, right?
Early on, 16. Same kind of story, man. I was doing the stand-up hustle. I was all these comedy clubs. Jamie Foxx actually had a comedy kind of like showcase that he put on in Atlanta called Laugh-A-Palooza. They would do it every year, and it was like this convention where just a bunch of comedians would come out. And I was doing my thing, and somebody from Will's company recorded me and showed him a tape. And then when I got back to L.A., he was like, I got to meet this kid. And at 16 years old, I walked into Will Smith's office with a script in my hand and ready to go and sat there and rapped for him. Like, I created my own sitcom, and I rapped the whole intro, like how the Fresh Prince had that intro song. I had one because mine was pretty much, it was a horrible show, but it was like it was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but in a military school. And it was called Loose Cannon. So it's like me, like I was this
It's not a
kid.
bad name. Like you can like.
So, but like, and he bought it on the spot, and he told me, he's like, man, you remind me so much of myself. And then from that point on,
Wait,
man,
nigga, you sold it?
yeah,
How
right
bad
there.
could it have been? We all trying to sell something. Fuck yourself, Nick Cannon.
No, but I think Will liked me more. I mean, and we shot it and everything. We got 6 episodes for the WB, but it never came out. You know what I mean? Like, but it created that relationship. And to me, this is the biggest movie star in the world right here.
No, not to you.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, like he gave me my first television deal, my first record deal, and my first producer deal all at once. You know what I mean? Like that's to provide that for a kid who's not even out of high school yet.
And a historic cameo in Men in Black 2.
Oh yeah. That was my first film.
Hey,
like,
please don't neuralize me, sir.
And that's when I was just the kid hanging around set, and they were like, "Yo, put Nick in there."
Yeah.
And like that's how cool Will was.
I was like, "Oh shit, is that Nick Cannon?"
Yeah, that was crazy.
He's like, what's the biggest lesson you learned from Will Smith, man?
So many. I mean, the thing, he gave me my first check immediately for like $150,000, and he told me don't spend it because he went broke at 19.
He did.
And I was like, whatever, I'm 18. I got time. So I bought a Range Rover, man, like just like his.
Right.
Just because I wanted to be like him so much. And he's like, man, don't buy that car. And he was right, because like I said, the show didn't get picked up. 2 years later, I was broke. You know what I mean? That $150,000 was gone.
Quick.
Yeah, had to get rid of the Range Rover, all that. You know, I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to buy me a crib, and out here, you know, like $150,000 in LA go like that.
It's done.
Yeah, once you get the Range Rover, it's gone. It's
done.
gas money after that.
It's crazy because people listening to this all over the country, and they thinking, yo, if I was to make $150,000 a year, I'm set. And because of where I'm from in Baton Rouge, you are. If like you make $150,000 a year in LA, you live in the Valley.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not.
And
that's
struggling.
It's hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like
because you're trying to keep up with the LA lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then you think
that's not a diss to anybody that lives in the Valley.
No, I live in the Valley. but to say that, it's like you think about again, it's like, what is money? I always ask that question, man, because we're just trying to keep up with each other, and we got this paper currency that we believe validates us, but really is worth nothing. You know, it's really debt. Money is debt. And soon as I got that $150,000, I was in debt. And it hit me. I didn't get it. I was constantly trying to pay something off, because you got agents, managers, all these people trying to get their piece so they can pay off their debt that they've accumulated.
They don't eat unless they get their money from you.
Yeah,
right.
And that was my introduction to be like, yo, what is going on? I'm just trying to keep up with everyone else. It'd been a lot easier not to even have that, or to take that and allow it to be invested into something else. And ever since then, I just started to invest in myself. And again, I'm probably one of the most flashy dudes out there. You know, I own diamond shoes, but it's like, but at the end of the day, I understand what this currency is for, and I don't allow it to control us. Because ultimately, we always on that paper chase, going back to education. A lot of people aren't going to college for the education. They're going to get that piece of paper so they can get the best job they can possibly get. Right. So then they can get the best job so they can pay bills for the rest of their lives. Sure. You know what I mean?
Come out of college in debt.
Yeah. And now you done started off on this race to where now you're just trying to catch up and make enough money to hopefully pay your bills, and then set it up to where your kids aren't as in debt as you are. Right.
It's crazy because we talk about one of my brothers, it was analyst at Citibank, so he knows a lot about financial stuff. And every once in a while I dip my toe in the conversation I have no fucking business in. It's just the arrogant person in me. And I go, you know what? If they really wanted to like turn the economy on, and they really wanted to stimulate things, forgive everybody's student loan debt. Forgive that. Forgive
game right there.
Forgive everybody. If you guys really want to turn the economy on, rather than have people with the earning potential of college graduates come out behind the 8 ball already, behind already fucked up, already paying in, already pinching pennies. These people not buying homes, they're not doing it is forgive the student loan debt, or at least moratorium something.
Yeah.
And every time you know what that would take? Do you know what that would take? You're bailing
It'll
out
take
the
a
auto
couple
industry.
of computer codes.
Yeah, you bailing out the auto industry. You bailing out all these other people.
Yeah.
Bail out the kids that need to go out there into the workforce.
At the end of the day, money's not real, man. Like it's a bunch
That's
of
what everybody with money says.
No, it's a bunch of codes in a computer.
Every
Think
rich
about it.
nigga goes, yo, money ain't real. Call me back, Van. I'm about to go swimming in my infinity pool.
But again, can you say, yo, I have the tangible, like even those homes, it's not real. Now, it's a finesse.
Yeah.
And some of us have figured out the finesse of how to be able to get tangible things because they say we got money. But at the end of the day, our dollar's not worth nothing. Ultimately, our whole infrastructure is based off of ownership of us, insurance policies on every person that's born in the United States. You are a corporation the minute you're born. If you look at your birth certificate, your name is in all capital letters because that's how corporations are established. Your birth certificate is a certificate of money. You are owned by the system, and they sell your birth certificate to all of these super real rich people across the world to keep America going. And it's debt, and that's why they couldn't bail out those student loans, because student loans, home loans, all of those things, that's what keeps this economy going, because money's not real. Money is debt, and they got to keep us in debt in order to control us.
Wow. See that? That's why I'm saying, dude, learn how to play basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah,
where the next LeBron at?
Yeah, go to school for free. Now, so over the past couple of months, years, your name has been brought up in a connection with some other people.
Yeah, I hate that too. That's the
it.
thing, honestly, and I never get a chance to talk about this, so I appreciate it. In forums like this, probably not this one, but and we still gonna talk about it because we're gonna get to it. But people, again, I always say they manipulate the conversation, and that's what the media is for. It truly is for manipulation. It's mind control, regardless how we want to figure it out and how we want to describe it. But people ask me these broad questions, whether it's about my personal life or what I feel or who I know, and then that becomes the topic of conversation or the interview or the headline. Nick says this about this X or this person, and so much so where that's
damn. I got a whole
we gonna get there because I'm not
the Nick Cannon X.
And I'm fine with that,
Right.
but what ends up happening, and this I just like to make this statement before we talk about it, is that I don't come into these situations and be like, man, let's talk about the last 7 chicks I banged. Or like I don't do that.
Right.
But because I'm such an open book and I choose, like, there's no question that's off limits to me, then they feel like, oh, he always up there running his mouth, or he like, first, no, I'm in the media business, and I understand how to play the media game. And what I believe is, instead of letting the media manipulate me, you got to learn how to manipulate the media. And so that's why, I don't care. Ask me about anything, and I'm going to give you an honest answer. But I don't want people to, I don't want, the Kardashian households or the Carey households.
I'm not going to ask you about that because I'm not trying to get no more, fuck all that.
I know, they already on your
I'm
head.
not like, fuck all that. I don't want no more of that.
But all of those people, if they see me walking out of Nobu somewhere, Mr. Childs, and all of a sudden now they feel like that's a topic of conversation that I actually want to talk about.
Right.
It's not. I'd rather talk about what we talking about, education, wealth, all of these things. But nobody cares about that. Everybody want to. Everybody want to talk about
Nick Cannon and
the
knowledge he's dropping.
Thank you. But everybody want to talk about the chicks I'm smashing, or everybody want to talk about who I have beef with, because I'm never going to just let somebody say something about me and I not respond.
Right.
So whether over the years from Eminem to Kanye, whatever it is, it's like, yo, you ask me, I'm a real dude. I'm a real cat. I'm gonna talk about it the same way if these mics were on or not. You ask me a question, we gonna chop it up.
We chopped it up a couple of days ago.
Exactly, on some real shit. So it's like, that's just who I am. But there's so many fake people in this industry. There's so many people that when you walk in the room, they got 5 publicists saying, you can't say that. He doesn't want to talk about this. They can't do, I'm not that dude. I walk in the room by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just like, you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it. And I'll deal with any consequences or repercussions after that, because I don't care. Because I live my truth. I go to sleep easy every night because I don't lie. I'm an open book. There's some shit I'm probably not proud of, or there's some shit like, damn, I could have did that in a little bit more eloquent fashion. I didn't have to say it like that. Or sometimes I'm a comedian. I'll say some shit just for the laugh. I'm like, ooh, shit, I didn't think about the consequences of that. But I'm never gonna hold my tongue. So therefore, whatever you want to ask me is
Well, I'm gonna ask you about
let's
something.
get to
I'm
it.
gonna ask you about something because like what this particular thing is, you have a very, very pro community, pro justice, pro black message.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did you feel when Azalea Banks made the sort of accusations against Wild 'N Out that she made? Because like I didn't even see him.
Yeah.
Shout out to my girl Erica.
Yeah.
Erica, you know Erica.
Yeah, yeah.
Erica hit me up and Erica was like, "This is not true."
All right.
And I was like, "What's
Yeah.
not true?" He's like, "None of what's going on is true." I'm like, "Yo,
What's
what
going
are you
on?
talking about?" She's like, "He would never be that way." And then when I looked it up, and I don't know Azalea Banks,
Yeah.
and I don't know whether there was a misunderstanding or not. And I'm certainly not trying to get flamed on Twitter, have my mama all upset. But when I looked at it, I
She
said,
goes hard.
like when I looked at it, I said, okay, that's probably I don't see Nick.
Yeah.
That's not that probably didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, not like that. So what did you
I
think?
felt bad for her, man, honestly, and I think even now, like, she don't. If you notice, she been real quiet on all fronts when it comes to that entire situation, just because. Again, I'm a straight shooter. I called it as is. She embarrassed herself, and she put up her defense mechanisms, and she instantly went to the space of colorism. And
When you say she embarrassed herself, what do you mean?
she embarrassed again, and she didn't embarrass herself where like it was her fault. She was unprepared,
Oh, okay.
whether it was her or her team. Or when you come on Wild 'N Out, you know what it is.
Yeah.
And I set up a forum to where we're always respectful. We ask questions beforehand. Is there anything that you don't want us to touch on? Is there anything that you feel sensitive to? And if they give us parameters, we rock. She didn't give us no parameters. And we like, oh, she be wilding online, so we gonna go all the way in and have fun with it.
Right.
She wasn't prepared, so she got in a situation where it was like, oh my God, all these people were coming at me, and I'm in front of thousands of people in Atlanta, and they're laughing at me. And instead of knowing how to roll with the punches, and she, like I said, the father in me took over because I just saw her like just literally just turn to this introvert right on stage, and it's like, oh wow, she's not the person that we see online or here in the media that's always going hard on people and got opinions about Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. Like, she's probably a fine example of how all of us treat social media. We're not those big bad intellectual, tough, opinionated people that we put.
You guys, because of her reputation, you guys thought you could be a lot rougher with her.
Yeah, and we thought we could go in, and actually she was more sensitive than the average guest. And that's why she instantly went to colorism. And I was like, oh, wow, she's probably dealt with this all her life. She probably has been called names because of her skin tone or her race or all of these things. And I was like, yo, I wanna help my queen. I don't want to tear you down. So I pulled her off the stage, talked to her, got her back right. And I was like, yo, you got to go out there in front of that crowd and let them know that you're not fazed by this and that these are jokes and you're here to have a good time. And she came back out, had a good time. And then obviously once she got home and the next day the battery got put in her back and she wanted to defend herself, rightly so, because we were going to edit the episode to where it's like none of that stuff even, like no one would have knew, but she spoke on it. And I was like, well, all right, if you're going to speak on it, tell the truth.
Right.
And instead of, saying that it was about colorism and all of that silly stuff, it's like, first of all, anybody who knows me,
knows
like,
that's not going to be a thing.
Yeah, like that's not even me. If you would have said like, he was trying to hit it or, you know what I mean? Like, well, he has a reputation of trying to knock chicks down. You might have to deal with this.
Right.
But in that scenario, like I was trying to do nothing but uplift her, and she just wasn't prepared for that situation, man. So I ain't got no ill will towards her. I mean, she can come on the show tomorrow if she wanted to.
Oh, like, so she's invited back?
That was one of the highest rated episodes of the season. She can come back. She can be a cast member if she wants to. Like, we rock it. Let's go.
Right. And obviously the Ye thing happened.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you and I get to talk about this in a public forum because, again, I've known Kanye before he was a.
And if you guys don't know, Kanye popped up on Instagram. Was it 3 weeks ago? I hit you immediately.
Yeah, you hit me with a text like, "You about to have an interesting day."
I was like, Nick, you about to have an interesting day. Kanye said that he was upset that you had, I guess, spoke on Kim in interviews.
Yeah, he bunched me in with Drake and Tyson Beckford of all people, and I was like, "What?" Like again, I know Kanye and known him forever.
Right.
And even to this point, like I don't like speaking on Kanye West. Like I don't really care. But he's pop culture. He's hugging Donald Trump. He's in Africa giving tennis shoes to people who don't need them. You know what I mean? Like this shit is hilarious. Like as a comedian, it's the best shit to talk about.
Right.
But again, he's someone that I personally know. So it's a little bit weird to have to say, all right, well, I think this or that. And even I personally know his wife, you know, and we all have history. So, and I'm probably a little bit more outspoken and truthful than they are. They're part of the system. And when I say the system, they play the game very well.
Sure,
They're
it's part of the
masters
brand.
at it.
Yeah,
they know
nobody begrudges
their
that.
tweets are calculated.
Right.
Their public appearances are calculated.
Their Instagram posts are calculated.
Mine aren't. I just say shit.
No, actually, I actually went on your. That's so funny that you would say that. I went on your Instagram before this, just doing a little research, and I was like, Nick don't really give a fuck. Nick ain't got no pictures with him and the money. Nick got like Tupac talks, Africa. Like Nick is in this. Like it's Colin Kaepernick's Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
And then it'll be
shout out to that.
And then it'll be me on Nickelodeon with JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, with the little girl. I'm like, this is really a real.
There's
Instagram.
no rhyme or reason.
Right.
It's just like what's ever going on in my day or at that moment. So again, when that whole thing happened, and if I'm speaking about this because you actually got so much Kanye light when Kanye came here, and I commend you, I salute you to be able to say this in your face. You spoke for so many people, and it wasn't like you was getting at Kanye or you spoke about your disappointment. You spoke as a fan. You spoke as someone who's really important to the culture about how careless his statements are, and I don't blame him for his careless statements because I've known that's the same Kanye that's over there dancing in Uganda. Is the same Kanye that I met in Chicago that I used to hang out with in New York, who was selling beats on the two-way. Right. You know what I mean? Like, same guy.
What changed, though? What changed from his
following?
Because the messaging has changed now, right? I get that he was the same guy, but we went from George Bush don't care about black people to Trump is my dad.
But
what changed?
Think about it. Remember how ridiculous people thought, like, Kanye's in the middle of a Katrina telethon.
I didn't think it was ridiculous. I was in the water.
No.
I was in South. I was in Louisiana.
No, but remember, like, you see how Mike Myers looked at Kanye? Like, this is not the time or place to say that. Kanye just speaks about how he feels in the moment. He's not thinking about repercussions. That's how he felt that moment, and it was a true moment. Right. And I honestly feel like Donald Trump is someone who was Kanye's friend before the presidency. Kanye does not understand politics. And therefore, he's like, I like this guy. Right. I know this guy. He's my dad. Like, the most ridiculous statement ever. But that's how he felt in the moment. And he's all about, like, Kanye's message is not, his message is a message of love. And he really believes it.
I think he's a good dude.
Like, when he's like sincerely like, yo, I love you, man. I don't want to beef with you. And he's like, yo, the person that everybody else sees as an enemy, as the devil, I can say I can find love in that person. I've known this person. So he's trying to show the world that, but he's like, man, we ain't trying to hear that shit. Yeah. Like, this dude is using you as a puppet. He's manipulating you.
Because it's on the line for us.
Yeah, and then I truly believe, and we all know, and this is where we get to, and I don't like to use the word mental health. I'm done like that because now that's been like this whole
co-opted.
Like that's a
mental
buzzword.
Health is important, but
but it's become a buzzword. And it's become rhetoric. I would rather use it. Let's dig deeper. I'm gonna say Kanye is suffering from mental fatigue, and that idea that we acknowledge that he's a genius. We see how hard he works.
Yo, that's crazy.
And at times, sometimes people just need to step back, man, and take a rest and shut all this shit off.
Man, I was having a conversation, and I said one of the earliest themes in Kanye's music was, you know, when he was talking about doing the 5 beats a day for 3 summers, being on the no-dose, like a constant grind.
And I've seen it personally. It's real.
So at this point, he just might be burnt and needed
mental fatigue, yo. And when you and we've all been tired to where we college students, rather and you like, yo, I can't think straight in this moment. I know what I want to say, but it's not. And, you see it when he was up, he's frustrated. He's trying to explain it because there's so much good shit in here, but I don't know how to articulate it. And then based off of society, that's how we measure intelligence, how well you can articulate. And he's always told you, I can't talk good. This how I say words get in my way, son. What you mean, fam? like that's Kanye. But you give him time in a studio, you give him
He'll
time
give you all of the
back,
lights.
he gonna give you brilliance. But if you just let him try to talk in his mind, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be that Katrina moment where that needed to be said, but it was uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And he that's all I say. It's just some fatigue. If somebody on his team, if they could just pull back and be like, yo, let's say everything you want to say, but let's put it in a book. And let's get other books to support it. Let's get everything that you're trying to say, and let's do a podcast. Let's make a documentary, opposed to just like, yo, we just gonna get it out here, fam. Like, nah.
You ever thought about working with him and trying to help him focus some of these things?
I mean, again, I got my own shit I got worried about.
Right. And that could be big for the coach. I'm just saying.
I would love to, but and we talk about stuff all, like I said, when I say Kanye and I was close, you know what I mean? And I hate, and he and I had that conversation, like, man, we just
when you talked to him, how was it?
It was in all the way. I wanted it to go deeper. You know what I mean? Like, it was more like, man, ain't no love lost. I love you, you love me, let's keep it moving type of thing. But I would love to engage with Kanye on any level. I invited him on Wild 'N Out, all of that stuff, but I think it's more than putting projects together and figuring this out. It's like, yo, if you truly care about that man, like, let's surround him the right way, because he is one of our greats. And that's like, when I see people talking about they want to give up on him and all
as you said, you tweeted that out that we shouldn't give up on you, because I actually called you. And I'm gonna be real with you. I called you after. I'm gonna be real with everybody listening. Should I say, when I called you after the because I've been on that too. Don't give up on him. Just keep talking about it until we can get to the bottom of it, because I think he's such an important cultural figure. But when I called you, I was like, yo, is it time to, I'm talking to you. I'm like, yo, nigga, is it time to turn the page on this nigga for real? Is it like, and we talked, and I would be honest with you, I went on a run.
And you made some valid points. You opened my eyes up to just even infrastructures and more about how this administration was manipulating and using Kanye. And I truly believe there's some puppetry going on. And some dark, just evil shit. But I don't think it's coming from Kanye.
From him.
And I think he's being used. And I think, first of all, we're all being used or manipulated.
I bet you, I know it.
It's a big distraction.
I work at TMZ.
But think about it. Even Donald Trump, when he was sitting there, he's like, yo, I got some more important shit that I'm supposed to be doing right now. But everybody want to know what me and Kanye eating for lunch. Like, he literally said that. And it's like, yo, there was like freaking military planes that had been grounded because someone had hacked them at that same moment, that the rest of the world could give a shit about. That no one else. It was a cool ass distraction because
there was also a hurricane
going on. It was a hurricane going on.
People were losing their lives and homes.
To this day, still sitting here talking about Kanye. And it's like, and that's when it goes back to like, yo, these are distractions, and they use that type of stuff. So that was like, as important as Kanye is, and he is our brother, we can't give up on him, but we also can't give the situation more weight and power than the true issue of this administration.
I got you. Speaking of this administration, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on voting?
Man.
No, I'm asking you because we're talking about. It's
gonna get me in trouble, man.
I don't want to get you in trouble. I want to ask you because listen, right now we have a bunch of different races, that national ones that people are keeping an eye on. Stacey Abrams in Georgia, Andrew Gillum in Florida, and then down in a huge Senate race, Beto O'Rourke down in Texas. Maybe flip that, get that out of there. So there's a lot of, we got a chance in about a month to kind of get some situations and maybe get some of the Republican GOP establishment uprooted. Nick Cannon feels how about voting?
This always gets me in trouble, man, because again, I'm a straight shooter. I'm an honest dude. And the one thing that I feel is important about voting is that our ancestors, our not even that long ago, didn't have the right.
Yeah, when you say not that long ago, you're talking 60, 65
Yeah,
years.
and then there's people
it's
who
like,
died for us to have the right to vote.
And and by the way, they wanted to vote.
Yeah.
So the Civil Rights Act is actually less than that. It's like 50 some years.
Yeah, the Voting Rights Act
and all those things they wanted to vote. They felt like that was a important part of being a part of the American society.
And then even much so because it goes beyond voting, and that's where the
representation,
the representation and 3/5 of a man, which really doesn't mean you're 3/5 of a man. They were really just giving slave owners 60% of their property.
Yeah.
Was accounted for to make their vote more powerful, so which gave the power to the South at the time. But to say all of that system of voting, I got to go back to W.E.B. Du Bois, who wrote several articles on I will not vote. And this was previous to the Civil Rights movement. And there he said there's no such thing as two parties, just one evil party with two names.
Sure.
This two-party infrastructure of Republicans and Democrats, I do not subscribe to.
Right.
Now, local voting and understanding policy and not personality, I think that is very important. That's such a hard concept for people to grasp that even when I say these things, people like, Nick Cannon don't believe in voting.
Because I'm going to let you know, that's people.
It's his fault Trump is the president.
I'm going to tell you right now, that you're saying this right now and we're sharing energy and we're here, but that's going to go everywhere.
Yeah. And I know.
Right.
And I stand firm by it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm in school studying, because I'm studying those actual elements, and I ask academics and people ahead of me and even in my own podcasts and conversations, I'm like, why do you think voting is important? Because really, voting is just another facade that they made us think we're in control when ultimately capitalism is in control.
Right.
The top 3% make all the policy, design all of the rules, and they make you think you have a choice when ultimately you have no choice.
I'll tell you why I think voting is important.
Go for it, please. I would love to hear this.
Okay. So I don't think voting for people is important.
Okay.
I don't think I think that the only thing that matters in America is the shifting of power. The shifting of power is what controls resources and decide who gets whatever resources, right? So a politician wants to, there are some politicians who want to be empowered because they want to change the world. Very few of them are. Most politicians want to be empowered because they want to be empowered.
Right.
How do they get in power?
The power.
They get in power by delivering to someone. The question is, who do they deliver to? Now, if you vote for a guy because you would want to hang out with him or because you think he's a handsome guy or he speaks well, you're wasting your vote.
Right.
If you vote for a series of policies that this person has and you can hold them accountable for, the reason why it matters is because if they don't do what they said that they were going to do, you can get them out of there. Right. Now, a lot of people feel like Trump was able to galvanize, use identity politics to get the White House.
It showed Trump being the president of the United States shows you how bullshit our government and voting and politics actually are.
But there were also people that voted for Trump because they thought he was going to deliver on things like ending globalization, like doing all of these different things that he really has yet to do.
Yo, he gets up in front of the UN and makes stupid statements, and they all laugh at him because it's like, you don't even know how this works.
And so, so what I would say to black people is that we don't even need to concentrate on parties. We don't need to concentrate on parties.
Fact.
What we need to do,
I agree with that,
is decide which social and economic policies have the most direct effect on our communities. Which ones have the most direct effect on our community?
Okay.
Or which ones could even, Nick, which ones could have the most direct effect on our communities, and we need to vote those. And by the way, even if there's some that don't, we would need to then think up those and concoct those and then maybe put forth candidates from our community that we could hold accountable for them, right?
Can we have real nigga talk real quick?
Real nigga talk, let's do it.
Just real quick. There is no way that we can succeed in a society that enslaved us.
That's not true.
No,
if that's
as a people.
No, that's not true. You know how we can succeed?
We can't look to our oppressors.
No, I'm not
to
looking.
not oppress
Wait.
us.
I'm not looking to the oppressors. I'm looking at Nick Cannon.
Okay.
And so when
I'm an individual though.
Well, I know,
fighting for the people.
I know. What I'm saying is, bruh. Listen, I'm telling you, what Nick Cannon just said is true. If y'all think that power ever is willingly given to somebody else, show me a time in history where that's ever happened.
A revolution needs to happen.
But what I'm telling you is power has been usurped, and it's been usurped in a lot of different ways. So what I'm telling you is, you're Nick Cannon, I'm Van Lathan, J-Rock is over there, everybody else is white, so
right.
but what I'm saying is, between you and I, we can mobilize a voting bloc in state and local governments and try to get people that reflect our values.
And nothing's gonna change.
Well, it depends on how.
This is what I think, because I was optimistic like you for a few reasons, and I believe like I want to see Stacey Abrams in that office. You know what I mean? Like, and
I don't know nothing about Stacey Abrams.
But this is the thing.
I know that my man Isaac supports her, and I'm learning more. But I would
love to see a black queen in office.
I would love to see that too. But like once again,
and that's what I'm gonna say. That the point I was gonna make in 2007, I was a personal surrogate for Barack Obama. I was trapped. This was before they thought he could even win. Like it was me, Obama, and his whole family in like the Days Inn in South Carolina, like that type of stuff. And it wasn't because I did not believe in this government, but I was like, how amazing would it be if my son gets to see that there's a black man?
That in and of itself means something.
That means something.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why I was willing to whatever we can do. I don't believe in this system, and not even a guy, rest his soul, Dick Gregory was one of the people who actually taught me and talked to me about the difference between a politician and a statesman. I believe Barack Obama was a true statesman, a community leader, wanted to make change, and then the system turned him into a politician, which he could not actually get the real things done that he actually stood for and wanted to get done. But he was so great that even through the bullshit, he was still able to excel, and he gonna be on money. You know what I mean? He's in.
There are lessons in the presidency of Barack Obama, though. There are lessons both positive and negative.
Yeah, but that's what I said. I was along for the ride.
Yeah.
For early on.
Right.
But it wasn't because I believed in this system. It's because I believed in the man.
Right. You don't think you can use this system to build different systems? That's what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Well, you said that earlier.
I mean, but not build in a real way.
Well,
We gotta extract ourselves. First of all, if they really, really want us to succeed, kind of what you were saying about
who really wants us to succeed?
This system.
What about us wanting us to succeed?
We gotta step out of it.
I know what I'm saying.
If we want us to succeed, we gotta go back and educate ourselves and build ourselves, and it starts with us. But
we're not gonna do that by not having advocates in the government.
The government is bullshit. Okay, like this, and even how you say that, if I don't fucking play fantasy football, I don't give a fuck who you putting on your team and all. I don't follow football.
Right.
So, but everybody's like, "Whoa, how do you not know this?" And I traded this person this week. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because I got real problems.
Right.
Like I don't give a fuck about the NFL or that's how I see the government. The world is gonna go on, and that goes when you travel abroad. You see, like first of all, they look at our government as the dumbest shit ever. Like we're pretending like we have a democracy. It's never been a democracy.
Right.
We've been brainwashed to think this is a democracy, but as soon as you step outside, and then people who don't operate in our democracy, we call them terrorists. And they magically end up dead.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas with Castro, Gaddafi, whoever you want to talk about, you know what I mean? Because we believe America is this great power that's right and can control the world.
See,
that's dumb shit.
See,
It's not true.
I don't believe that we have to believe in America in order to believe in each other. And this is what
facts.
And so
and that's all I'm saying.
And so what I mean by that though is this is what I mean. I'm saying
you can still be a patriot. You can still love your people and even love this country.
Yeah.
But you can't love the dumbass system
you can't love
that
it
they
as it
brainwash
is. You have to kind of look to what it could be. What I mean by that is this. I'm saying if we're talking about very tangible issues, right?
Yes.
Like for example, one thing that Kanye did say when he went to talk to Donald Trump was he said, "Yo,
free Larry Hoover."
Free Larry Hoover. Free Larry Hoover.
That's some gangster
that
shit,
is
though.
To say in the White House. My nigga, like no bullshit.
He said, "Motherfucker," and free Larry Hoover in the White House.
That's real.
I gotta fuck with Kanye on that.
James Prince was in here, and James Prince was like, yeah, he was fucking with that.
But one of the most notorious gangsters ever.
One thing he did,
Larry Hoover and Diddy. Those are the two biggest gangsters in American history.
But what he said was he said, what we need to do, and this is a real thing, he said, the hood needs jobs.
Facts.
And we need to open up factories
To
and
get
do
this debt currency.
to get the debt currency. The hood needs jobs.
Yeah.
We need to open up factories
Yeah.
and different
He gonna open up a Yeezy factory in the south side
in
of
the
Chicago.
south side of Chicago and stuff like that. What I would like to see is if politicians or if people who are lawmakers really care
Right.
about underserved neighborhoods and about places that
don't.
but what I'm saying is if we mobilize our voting block, like for example, Roy Moore down in Alabama, right?
Okay.
Black women are the reason why Roy Moore lost his election.
Right.
Because they got out, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's fantasy football.
But what I'm saying is if you get out for somebody, not to keep them out because they're a pedophile, if you get out to somebody who has said, this is what I'm going to do to bring these type of incentives to get companies to come here to kind of shave off some of this shit that's been sending these jobs overseas, or to even make some of these other companies, these huge companies, pay their fucking taxes.
Right.
If you can have these people in here and then hold them accountable, maybe you can get something done. And it's better to have somebody that you can talk to and poly with than someone who doesn't give a fuck about what you're talking about.
I agree with that. Now, to say all of that, because I know I've made a lot of crazy headlines and loud, bold statements in this interview right now, and these things probably will get out there, but I don't want.
I don't feel like you've been that crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, but
we
I'm
haven't
saying
even gotten to the hoes yet.
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
the women, the women,
queens.
the queens. I'm sorry, that was 2003 me. Never today, you queens. I'm sorry about
But
it.
specifically on talking about voting, people know how I feel.
Sorry,
people,
black women, I apologize.
it's a
That
conversation
wasn't right.
that I say where I don't want to be misconstrued or misunderstood. To educate yourself on policy, to understand how it works, please understand all of that. What you said is all factual. To think that it's actually going to make a difference from everything from the Electoral College to the way state and local, or to the way the state and federal government are actually set up, that, but ultimately the policy is established in the judicial aspect, and that
Sure. Yeah.
and those people get that job and never lose the job.
Lifetime appointment.
Like, you know, and it's the policies where from overturning Roe versus Wade, all of these things that we may be overlooking as we want to, you know, get my man, what's his name that just got appointed to the Kavanaugh. like we
you made him Russian, Kavanaugh.
Yeah, like
Bertowski Kavanaugh.
But when you think we focus so much on, you know, is he a bad man? And he looks like he is. He like or he just likes beer. You know what I mean? He can't remember what he did 30 years ago and all of that shit. But we focused on that opposed to like once he gets in there and has that job for life.
That's done. The abortion rights.
All of the things that things that our generation won't even suffer from. It's gonna be the next generation and all these until this whole freaking thing crumbles because we've allowed, you know, 80-year-old white men to design.
Boy, when you see the Senate, them motherfuckers is so old and the mayonnaise has gone back.
But
like, god damn, when you watching.
But that's our system.
I get it. Well, I'm asking you this though.
It's our system.
All right,
it's fucked up.
That's what won't make a difference. What will?
You want my real answer?
Give it to me.
And it sounds so cliche, man, but it truly is empowering and educating our own.
What does that mean, though? Tangibly. Actually. Empowered. So you're empowered.
Yes.
Now, so you're empowered, you're educated. So you have
I mean, you know, if I had to ask, if I thought this system actually could change some shit for us, which I don't think they give a fuck about us. They look at us as property and always will. And some of us are special and we can, like if we're talking about individuals, I will speak to a young black girl, a young Latino male and be like, yo, you can be the president of the United States. You can go be a billionaire. I believe that's the beauty of America. You know what I mean? An individual can go from nothing and become something amazing and provide for their family. That is real in America. To believe that a group of people that were oppressed will no longer be oppressed, that's not possible. And if it was possible, this is what they should do. Give us our fucking 40 acres.
No, we can't, but they're not going to give us nothing.
Come on.
So
we're owed that.
So I
they said we can have it.
I know, but they're not going to give us nothing.
And that equates
to
what
we're going to do, Nick?
You take that shit.
Me and you.
We gonna
and the
take
rest
that
of, We
shit.
gonna take it.
You see, I got the motherfucking
you know what
turban
I'm
on.
like
I'm
you're
ready to
saying,
go.
We know we're gonna do, Nick.
I'm on
Me and you
some
and the rest of,
kamikaze shit.
the
Let's
rest of
go.
these community, the next couple generations, we gonna take it, and what we can't take, we gonna fucking build it for ourselves.
I'm on some
And-
Garvey shit.
and
Let's go back
Nick-
to Africa.
and Nick
Me
is-
and Akon are building a city. It's called Akon City.
I'm just saying, I love all of that.
I'm trying
And
to.
it's gonna start next month when Nick comes to the voting machine with me. All right.
It's no point.
That's enough. That's
and-
enough of you telling the kids not to vote, Nick Cannon.
Because it's a facade. It's fake. It's all fucking fake.
All right, I want to talk about Gigolo.
Now that's real shit.
That's real shit. I want to talk about Gigolo. But before I talk about Gigolo, I can't talk about Gigolo without doing this right here. I can't talk about Gigolo. I don't know if you own the rights or whatever.
We about to turn up.
Bruh, because you think it's a lie. Oh, Gigolo. Oh, it's a lot of Gigolo songs on title. Jay-Z, what you doing?
Jay got what they got me out there. Come on, I got the Gigolo song.
You got the only Gigolo song that matters.
And this is like autobiographical shit.
It is, bro.
Like,
oh myself. Hold on for a second. Is it? Oh, title's not gonna work in here.
See,
damn.
See that streaming shit.
That streaming shit not even gonna work. Oh, here comes the.
Hey.
Turn up, J-Rod.
Turn up.
Turn up. Hey, I want to see everybody in here moving. White boys.
It's real shit.
Hey, I'm a Gigolo. Hey, by the way, this is one of my top 5 favorite songs of all time. No
there
bullshit.
it is.
No bullshit.
So and I'm always surrounded by
so many. Oh, hey, look at the fucking fashions in this video.
It's autobiographical.
So first of all, that's a hard record.
Appreciate you.
That's a hard record.
Yeah.
Is that your best musical moment?
No, actually the song that I did with Kanye West, that we produced and worked on together called "Can I Live" is.
I remember that. I remember that joint too.
That's probably like I've had people come up to me and say, "Yo, I would not be on this planet if it wasn't for that song. My mother would have aborted me if she didn't see that video or heard that song." And that to me, I don't care how many records I sell, all that stuff. Like that's real shit. You see how I took that? You see how I just flipped that shit?
He flipped it. Listen, whoever that person was, I'm happy you're alive too. But that shit ain't no Gigolo though. Listen. Whoever that person is, God bless you, man. I'm happy that you on this planet too. This Gigolo, I had a mix when Gigolo came out, and it was only 2 songs on the mix. It was Gigolo and Off Up in the Club by Marcus Houston. I was rocking to that shit. Bro, so that song, man, that leads us to the other side of Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
First of all, do you talk to R. Kelly often?
I don't talk to R. Kelly often. But when I see him, man, I give him a hug. I give that dude a hug. That's my guy. Like,
right.
I can't knock R. Kelly, man. Like,
even with all the shit people say now?
It's like, I even heard Charlamagne, like, well, we should do away with R. Kelly. Like, what does this do away with people? Well, first of all, where do we have that right to judge and do away with anybody?
That's him. You don't give a fuck about pissing nobody off. They gonna be so mad that you said that, Nick.
Who am I? Who is fuck they?
Right.
Like,
right.
And who are they to say that I can't say? Like, I'm never gonna disown anyone. I don't have that power. I am not God. Now, if we want, let's talk about the facts and the things that we see. First of all, R. Kelly has never been convicted of the crimes that we all say he did. Now, we all seen the fucking tape.
Right.
And that nigga looked like R. Kelly.
Right.
And if we actually get to it. Now, would I leave my daughter with R. Kelly? Absolutely not. But I'm not going to sit here and throw a whole person away. Because of the media or what we've been told to, and if we gonna throw R. Kelly away, we gotta throw Steven Tyler away. Because Steven Tyler got got custody over his 13-year-old girlfriend in the 70s and impregnated her and then forced her to get an abortion because he didn't want to have that. Now I wasn't there.
Right.
It's what the media told me.
Right.
But this is all factual.
Right.
Ain't nobody talking about burning Steven Tyler's records. And
I didn't even know about that.
Fuck Aerosmith. Don't nobody say that.
Right.
He had a 13-year-old girlfriend, my nigga. Like, Elvis Presley.
Yeah, for sure.
Loved 13-year-old women. Met Priscilla when she was 14.
And then says they never had sex. Come on, Elvis.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Jerry Lee Lewis.
All of these people. So if we're going to let's throw everybody away. That's all I'm saying. Like, and again, if we talking about morals, I would not leave my daughter
Right.
5 minutes with R. Kelly.
Right.
Just based off of he and I don't agree on the same moral standpoint and have the same moral compass. But that doesn't mean this man isn't a great artist.
Right.
All of our artists are trouble. We see that daily. So, but I'm saying if we're gonna allow media to throw our black men away, whether it's R. Kelly, Chris Brown, Bill Cosby, all these people that they want to call monsters and all this stuff, then we got to call all men monsters.
What are your thoughts on Bill Cosby?
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a spoken word piece called "Why Bill," and it was just,
I remember
it
that.
was, I'm hurt, dog. Like, and that's where I go back. I'm gonna go back to R. Kelly as well as Bill Cosby for 1 second, and let's personalize it. And because I know I've had this situation happen in my family, and I don't know if you have. Imagine that the uncle you've loved all your life, give you everything you want when you see him, big hugs, protected you, taught you how to throw your first punch. You hear that he's either taken someone's life. This happened to me personally. Or even, we'll go even one step further. Maybe had touched someone inappropriately in your family. And that's your uncle. That's your dad. Do you hate him now?
That's a hard question, dog.
You know what I'm saying? And I've dealt with that in my personal life.
Even if you don't hate him, you can't fuck with him, though.
But that's your uncle. That's your daddy.
I know, but
if your dad, like, again,
my daddy ain't never touched nobody.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things where in my personal life, I've like.
Well, I definitely know my uncles have killed people. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I've had this.
That was dry snitching. I never heard of that. I never heard those stories.
I don't know which uncle you talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in war.
Right.
It was the
Vietnam.
government said he could kill him.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I've dealt with people that I came up with that I looked up to, and I said, "You did what?" And then I have to personally say, "All right, I don't hate the man. I hate the spirit in the man. I hate whatever convinced you, that sickness that made you make any type of whatever you did with this young girl that was underage. Whatever you did that made you take this person's life. I can't. But so in our own families, we deal with this struggle.
What do you feel like? What do the victims fall in that?
I feel for the victims.
Yeah.
I in a way to where, first of all, I love this. It's a paradigm shift, the power that women have today, and to be able to step up and speak for them. And I believe every woman should step up. And if a man has mistreated you, harmed you, you need to speak on it. And those men should pay for whatever they did to you.
Don't we as men have to make them pay? Don't we as men have to stop fucking with guys if we think they're bad to women?
Okay, when you say stop fucking with them, what does that mean?
Meaning
you want them to get help?
Want them to get help, but also if you know
throw them away in a box?
Listen, I don't know nothing. I can't. I'm not a judge.
Again, you know how I feel about the prison system.
Yeah. I'm not a judge and a jury.
Right.
I'm not judging the jury. I'm not saying who should be canceled and who, because I fucking.
Do I think Bill Cosby is a monster?
If he did all of that stuff, he'd have to be. Nick.
There is something really wrong. In the power construct of Bill Cosby. But I'm saying if we're gonna blame Bill, let's make sure we don't worship Hugh Hefner, who a lot of these girls is where he met at Hugh's house that were underage,
or Woody Allen,
that were getting paid. Like that's what I'm saying. There's a power construct that I hate, that Bill felt comfortable in being manipulated within. And I'm sad because to me he was a patriarch. He was a father to our community, and now you stole that from me. And I want to sit across the table and have these conversations with him and ask him how he thinks I should feel. Because
that would be wild.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. And
that's real shit, because I don't. Man, I'm torn. Yeah. And again, I've been torn in my own family of man, how should I feel about this dude? Yeah. I love this dude all my life. And now now he going to prison. I don't know how to process that, other than I know I'm not the judge. And if this system says you broke this law because this has been the law for so long and you did this, this, and this, and you got to go now live in this box, in this cage, it's a fucked up system. I don't know how. Now, am I gonna say I'm no longer listening to R. Kelly's music? I can't fucking hear I Believe
We
I Can
just
Fly
listened
no
to
more.
it. I mean,
or I can't watch the Cosby Show no more. Or I can't eat fucking Jello no more. Like all of this stuff. Like I'm not that. I got too many of my own problems.
I get it.
Then I gotta be start throwing people away.
I do think like there's a lot of murkiness in some of those situations, you know. But I do think though, in sometimes though, it is kind of up to us because I just wonder
Giving
what
us a lot of responsibility, man.
we do it as men. We got a lot of responsibility. That like we got responsibility
for our own. Like I
hold
said,
men accountable for how we want our women to be treated. Right.
100%. My daughter will not be at any Bill Cosby events or R. Kelly events. I might not let her go to Chris Brown's house, and that's my young dude. Just based off, if my daughter says she want to go to Chris Brown's house, we gotta have a conversation.
Gotta have a whole talk.
Cause I've been to Chris Brown's house,
and you know what?
And I don't want my daughter over there. But that's what I'm saying. I love Chris. We do a lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, we are different men as patriarchs in the head of our households than we are when we're
out in the world.
Yeah, and let's deal with the family.
Right.
If we deal with our own family constructs, if we deal with our own tribe, we ain't got to worry about fucking voting. We ain't got to worry about social media. We ain't got to worry about any of that stuff because we're dealing with our own.
You're gonna vote with me on Instagram. So I'm gonna read. So I
didn't say I wasn't gonna vote.
Right. Oh, you did? Okay.
I didn't say I wasn't going to.
Oh.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Like I said, I play video games. I know that shit ain't real.
Hey, I feel you. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read a list of names, and you just tell me which one isn't true. Okay?
Oh, man. I already done said a bunch of shit that's probably gonna get my ass in trouble.
If this don't go right, we can cut it out.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. I'm not gonna do you dirty, dog.
So wait, I just gotta say true or false?
Nope, you don't have to say true or false. Just in the list, you just have to say which ones aren't true. And we just saying dated.
How can I just say, all right.
You can say true or false.
This is all bad. Okay, because we're going to do it.
Because we don't have to do it.
No, we're going to do it. But let me set the table. Because this gets me in trouble every fucking time I do this. Now, as a man, as somebody who I believe has evolved, to talk about women that I have been involved with, there's no win for me. Okay. Because all the women that I may be looking to be involved with are being like, oh, he going to run his fucking mouth.
Right.
2, then they're gonna be like, it's such fucking egoism and machismo going on. Like, yeah, I got that. I cannot win by doing this. But let's do it.
You know what? We're not gonna ask the question.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
I'll tell you why. Because Nick makes it. Maddie wants to know. I just want to ask you about one. Can't you ask you about one?
Just one.
Just one. I'm not gonna, because I was gonna go down the whole list. And let me tell you something.
And my preference is I believe all women are queens. Right. And any woman that I have ever been involved with, it was an honor and a pleasure to know you, and I am not bragging about smashing you.
And so listen, I'm not gonna ask you none of these, because if this list is true, if this list is completely accurate, fuck Leonardo DiCaprio. That's all I'm saying. If this list is completely, I got this list online. If this list is completely accurate, Leonardo DiCaprio ain't got shit on this man. But there's one that jumped off that I want to know whether or not this is true or false. Heidi Klum.
No, that is not true. That's not true at all.
Nick, you hesitated. Maddie.
Heidi, as everyone knows, we work together, and I love, to this day, admire Heidi Klum. I think she's in a relationship currently. And I
Speaking
love
of Chris Brown, there's somebody else here who can dance.
I love Heidi Klum, and I mean, I'd be a lucky man.
It was never anything romantic.
Nah, we just worked together. We did.
It was.
I don't lie.
All right. Okay. Oh, wow.
I admire Heidi Klum.
I admire her too. But really, because all the names on this list, the other ones, they've either been rumors or it's been downright. I will say Krisha Turner is fine. They've been rumors or it's been outright said. Yeah. Maybe I'll ask about one more. Nicole Murphy.
She's an amazing woman. Mm-hmm. I admire her. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. God, a beautiful businesswoman, a beautiful mother, and I consider that's someone. We never worked together, but I consider her a friend. There's never, because it's
All
not
right,
good
that's
for
cool.
me.
That's the end of it. Those are the only two that I was like. Those are the only two that I was like, yo. I never heard about
I never
those.
win. This
Look,
is gonna go out. It's gonna be.
It's not because you know what? We're gonna put clips out of this, but we're not gonna put this clip out. This clip right here.
Yeah,
we're gonna put
right.
clips out. We're gonna put clips out of this, and some of this stuff is gonna.
But again, you know what? This is a fine lesson for me
Mm-hmm.
to understand the power of the media and how I have to dance.
Right.
And
you
I hate dancing.
Bro, you just hit for Chris Brown be doing that corkscrew flip.
Because I know how this game works,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm within this game, and it's a very fine line where you have to take your personal life
Mm-hmm.
and try to maintain the personal and be an open book. Because that's the thing. I thrive on. If you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you an honest answer.
Right.
But a lot of times, it's other people's business that It's not.
Word.
I don't want to share this person's business. I don't want this person to get in trouble at the crib.
Right.
So
you don't want Seal to knock on the door and be like, "What's popping?"
No,
like
me and Heidi Klum
kiss,
were just
kiss from a rose,
we're
nigga.
just friends and work colleagues.
Last question, and this has been a fantastic interview. Give it up. This has been.
Thank you.
Last question. What is the worst Nick Cannon movie?
Ooh, that I started because I've been in a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Like the worst, the movie that you watched that you was like, because let me tell you, I'll tell you one of my favorite Nick Cannon movies.
What's
It's
that?
easy, obviously.
Drumline.
It's fucking classic.
Thank you, man. That's the HBCU culture right there.
It's classic.
And I feel like, and it's funny, okay, because even I would love to end on this and even talk about this because I feel like everything that I got so much more inside of me.
Sure.
And like, I'm going to make some decisions that everyone's not going to agree with, but musically, like people haven't seen the level of musicianship.
Do you rap
yet.
better than Will Smith?
Absolutely.
You rap better than Will Smith?
Absolutely. And
You're a better rapper than Will
I am
Smith.
a better rapper than Will Smith.
You rap.
And Will Smith is pretty damn good.
Will Smith is nice.
Like, and still,
I want to ask you. Do you feel you rap better than Will Smith?
And I will
Nick Cannon,
come any forum, your Instagram page, wilding out wherever
you will battle.
battle.
You will battle Will Smith.
100%.
Now that's what we
100%.
running with, because that's the energy. That's the clip we running with. I want smoke. I want Will Smith.
All the smoke.
First, you feel like you'll out rap Will Smith.
100%.
Who else? Who else can you out rap?
I feel like I'm better than 90% of the rappers out there.
Word.
I believe because my freestyle I freestyle so well that I don't even do it no more. Like if you watch Wildin' Out, I just be like
Chilling on the
everybody
side.
else is like preparing and writing shit in bars. Like I've been doing this shit. Like my freestyle is crazy, and it's almost like I don't have nothing to prove no more. Now, but again, if we talking about, to me, like my poetry is something that is more important to me than any rapping, because like that's where I actually get to say stuff, and that's where the bars really are. But it's like people don't, our society doesn't weigh it like that. So I would call Lil Wayne one of the greatest, Drake one of the greatest, Andre 3000. But it's like you put those cats in a battle form going back and forth, and they're not gonna be able to.
You think you can out battle all of those guys?
Absolutely.
Wayne, Drake, Andre 3000.
Absolutely.
In front of Nick Cannon, you'll kill them all.
Come on, Wildin' Out. Any of them, smashing them, bar for bar. Any of the games, pick up and kill it, wild sauce, wild style, all of that. But again, it's a skill set. It's something I've been doing all my life. Like that's just what it is. But you know, record sales, writing songs, they got that.
Yeah.
But it's like, and again, to me, like I consider myself a musician, man. Like to me, I've always focused on producing other artists and giving other artists opportunities. Like I want to be Quincy Jones. Like I'm not trying to be the illest MC. But if you step up,
get crushed.
Yeah. Punks jump up to get beat down.
Worst Nick Cannon movie.
Worst movie. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like I made some bad shit, but I'm going to make a lot more great shit. So to say all that, because all the people who were involved with this movie, it's not your fault.
Right.
But I would say I made this movie called Day of the Dead.
Sorry.
But I love zombie movies.
Right. That wasn't that bad though.
And it was just, I feel like, well, my shit ain't trash.
I mean, that wasn't. I mean,
it was a zombie movie.
So, I mean, let me tell you something. There's only so fucking bad a zombie movie can be.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, because really, there's only so fucking good as a zombie movie.
Yeah, and it was a zombie remake.
Right.
Because the original was, considered a cult classic.
George A. Romero.
Yeah. So, but that it was a pretty bad joint. But I had probably some of the most fun I've ever had making a movie, and I'm happy because I got that check, and I had a great time, and now the people who like it can like it and enjoy it. But that's the thing, like now I write and produce and direct my own movies, and I'll get to be a part of others. Like, this is a blessing to be able to make believe for a living and get paid millions of dollars to do it.
Right.
So my worst movie, I'm gonna love it and support it no matter what.
Family good?
Everybody's good, man.
All right,
Everybody's
man.
beautiful, man.
If the family's good, then we out. Give
That's
it up
what
for
it's
Nick
all
Cannon,
about.
everybody. Give
This
it up
shit
for
gonna
Nick
get us
Cannon,
in
everybody.
trouble.
No, it's not. I'm telling you.